Success Nation. I'm your host, Gary Ernest. Today I'm going to talk to you about communication. Communication is a transaction in a sense. It's a give and take. We've heard about communication. We've heard people say that we know how to communicate. But do we really know how to communicate when it comes to success? When it comes to achieving our goals, do we really know how to communicate? I'm going to explain it to you. See, communication usually is, when it comes to success, we tend to lack communication. We don't have it much. Only a few people really do have communication down pat when it comes to being successful. I know you're listening to this right now, you're asking yourself, well, I know how to communicate. I talk to my children, I talk to my friends, I talk to my family. I even talk a lot on the phone at my job. So therefore, I definitely know how to communicate. But the question is, do you really know how to communicate? But it is a very important tool when it comes to being successful. When it comes to achieving your goal, knowing how to properly communicate will open doors. Knowing not to be able to communicate will close many doors for you. Now you ask yourself, how is that possible? You know, I have a mouth. I can open it. I can say good morning. Is that communication? No. When I go to the store, I talk to the clerk, I talk to the cashier, I talk to everyone. Is it that communication? No. Then you will ask yourself, what is communication then? Communication is an exchange of ideas. An exchange between you and the other person. But you have to establish a sense of connection. How do you talk to someone you're not connected to? You don't have any sense of connection. You will say to yourself, no, well, I can do it. No, if you don't know how to communicate in business, you will not succeed. You have to understand, what do you have in common with that person? What exactly do you have in common with that person? When you're talking to that person, how can you relate to that person? If you cannot relate to that person, you pretty much may not be able to do business with that person. It's pretty simple. But you have to learn how to do it. You have to learn how to properly communicate in order to be successful in your life. Because if you don't know how to communicate, you will have problems many times. You will go through employees like crazy. Even relationship, you would go through many relationships, because if you do not know how to communicate with each other, you pretty much not going to stay in there. Even though society have told you this, well, opposites attract. But you meet someone, he's a texter, she's a talker, they do not get along. She's like, all he does, he texts me. He doesn't call me. Well, because you guys don't have the same communication skills. All he does, he calls me all the time. I don't like to talk on the phone that much. You see, opposite communication is not an attraction. And so you decide, you said to yourself, you know what, baby, honey, we're going to the restaurant. What would you expect your woman to say? What would you expect her to say right now? Baby, we're going to the restaurant. I bet you in your mind right now, you said, of course my woman's going to say, yes, let's go to the restaurant. The answer is no. She might tell you no because you telling her, let's go to the restaurant. Not only that, you didn't even ask her what type of restaurant would she like to go to. Is that restaurant something both of you guys can enjoy? You see? It sounds basic. Communication sounds like something basic, but it is very important. Let's say you meet a business partner, a potential business partner at best. Potential. You meet that person, you said, I want to do business with that person. But you guys have your interests, your likes are total opposite. Do you think you can hang out with someone that you don't have anything in common? You don't have any likeness, anything that you can relate to. You're not going to succeed. Point blank. Because, see, in business, you have to be able to talk. You have to be able to enjoy everything together. You have to be able to go to the clubs. Maybe it's shooting a round of golf. Maybe it's just boating. But you enjoying each other's company while talking business. You see, you might say to yourself, communication, when I started, that's basic. No, it's not as basic as you may think. It's only basic once you know how to communicate. Once you know how to talk to that person. Once you know how to flow information, how do you exchange that information. Once you know how to do it, you definitely will be successful. However, until then, you have to learn how to do it. Don't look at people as strangers. They're not as much of a stranger. People are not as much strangers as we may think. The only problem is we assume that we don't have anything in common when it comes to those people. We assume that you assume that your neighbor down the street is opposite of you. Maybe you look at their skin color, maybe you look at their attitude, you look at their height, you're like, no, I won't get along with that person. But the moment you start talking to that person, you find you have more things in common. You find that you have more things in common with that person. You say to yourself, wow, I didn't notice that he or she's a great person. But if you assume that good morning is communication, you get it wrong. If you assume that being able to go to the store and pay your money and leave, that's communication, you are also wrong. Now, you have to also learn how to communicate with your children. Don't just say to your son and your daughter, say, get this, get that, move left, move right, I got this. No, that's not communication. What do you know about that child? How can you relate to that child? How can you relate to your son and your daughter, and then your wife, your husband? How can you relate to those people? That's the power you need to understand. This is what you need to know how to do. You need to know how to just talk, how to have a conversation, how to have a flow of conversation, a flow of communication where they can understand what you're saying. They can relate to you. If you're behind that wheel right now, you're driving to work and you look at that person that cut you off, and you start throwing all kinds of words at that person. And you say to yourself, yeah, I was just talking to you. I bet you were not. The person was not listening. The moment you start screaming, the person no longer listening to you. You make that person angry, yes. You create aggravation for yourself, yes, but they can't hear you. If people cannot hear you, they're not listening to you. Once the people cannot hear you, they are no longer listening to you. If they cannot relate to the communication that's coming from you, they are not listening to you. You have to understand, you have to learn how to make them listen to you. Not do as I say, No. What is that? Oh, do as I say, now as I do. Actually, people do as you do. They don't really do as you say. As parents, we have kids, we have children, and we assume that we tell them what to do. We keep telling them what to do. And why are they doing the opposite of what we do? Do you know why? Because they are reflecting you. Because the upbringing of that child will dictate how they learn to communicate. Your upbringing as a being plays a lot in your communication skills. If you didn't know how to communicate in your family, and when you have children, you will not know how to communicate to the kids. You would not know how to communicate to your business partners. You would not know how to communicate to your husband, to your wife. No. You will say to yourself, maybe I'm unlucky. Maybe I cannot get a woman, I cannot get a man because they don't listen to me. Take a minute. Step back. Take a minute. Step back. Take a deep breath. Yes. Take a deep breath. From your diaphragm all the way. And exhale through your mouth. Now, do you think they will listen to you just by you telling them what you want? Do you think they will listen to you by you telling them what you're expecting? Do you think that they will listen to you just you telling them? Tell. Sometimes people, you have to show people. Not only you have to show them that, you also have to be able to relate to what they're feeling, to relate to what is reality to them. How can you relate to that person? If you cannot relate to that person, but you say to yourself, yeah, I got this. No, you don't. Yes, I'm talking to you. And you know me, I talk directly to you. I'm not going to talk to you like you don't exist. You are right in front of me right now. Yes, you are in the car. Yes, you. You driving to work. Yes, that's you. You sitting eating at your table. Yes, that's you. You playing with your friends. Put that phone down, just listen to what I'm saying to you. Yes. You have to learn to communicate. You have to learn to understand and flow the communication, the conversation, let it flow. It's a back and forth thing. I send, you receive, you send back to me. You see? But if we do not know how to do it properly, it will destroy relationships. It will destroy businesses. It will destroy families. It will destroy even countries sometimes, because elected officials do not know how to communicate to their constituents. Because elected officials do not know how to talk to their people. Not because you're talking to a few people who have vested interest in you means that you know how to talk to your constituents. Not because a few people took the survey, they answer your questions, and you feel like, well, then, my people ain't listening. And then you look back, you're like, you haven't done anything for us. But if you listen to them, you talk to them, you can't get them to do what you want them to do. You can change a lot of things in your life just by knowing how to communicate, how to talk to people, how to have a real conversation, a proper communication, have a real dialogue, not just talk. Not just talking. You have to be able to have a dialogue that can flow back and forth between you and the person receiving. The person receiving will send you something, but you have to understand how to do it. If you don't understand how to do it, then you have to learn how to do it. But I tell you one thing. On your way to success, your pathway to success, you must know how to communicate. Believe me, I know it works. But if you do not apply this, it will be detrimental to your success. Listen to me again. If you do not apply proper communication, your level of success, your odds of succeeding at anything, it's pretty much very low. So therefore, what I'm saying to you is today, understand the power of communication. The power of communication will bring you success. I'm going to give you an exercise to do. I always have some exercise for you to do. What you need to do, find a total stranger, somebody you don't even know. Observe that person. Find something in common with that person. Let's talk. Spark a conversation. You go to the grocery store or anywhere you go. Just start a conversation with that person. Ask the person, how are you doing? How their family doing? Then you send me a note. Send me a comment. Let me know how they responded to you. Let me know. Just do. But if you don't do it, you won't know. The key to success is what? To be able to communicate. But how do you properly communicate? That's the question you're asking yourself. That's a question you're asking yourself right now. You have to be able to have something in common with that person. You have to be able to talk, to be business partner with people you want to be, you do business with. You have to be able to have something. If you don't have anything with that person, you're pretty much in the wrong business. You pretty much have the wrong business partner. Because after the business deal, after all the deals have been done, you're going to have to be able to sit back and enjoy life together. You're going to have to be able to sit back and play a round of golf together. Play some basketball, shoot some hoops together, man. You understand? You have to be able to talk football. You have to be able to talk basketball together. You have to be able to do something together. If you cannot do anything together with that person, you are in the wrong place. Let's say you have your girlfriend, you have your wife, you have your husband, you have anything in your life right now. Let's say you've been through countless of relationships. You've started many businesses, a lot of failed businesses. What you need to understand is, ask yourself, look back. Yes, go in retrospect. Look back and see where was the lack of communication? What was not being communicated that caused you to fail? When you do that, tell me the result. Remember, like and subscribe. In order for you to succeed, you have to take control of your destiny. Without you doing that, you're not going to succeed. Success is a matter of you taking control of your life. It's a matter of you taking control of your destiny. Remember, like and subscribe. Any comments, we're welcome. Thank you again. Talk to you next time.